if you're a fan of horror films like I am, but you haven't really explored horror films from other countries, it might be time to expand your horizons a little bit, and hopefully this episode will give you a good start. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is not my closet full of all the stuff that I love. It's a very Kazdoy Christmas around here, so a lot of noise and a lot of activity going on in the house. So we are therefore shooting al dente once again. But today we're going to look at one of the most popular Japanese horror film franchises ever. Let's check it out. Japanese horror, also known as J-horror films, has its roots in various places: kabuki theater, Japanese folk tales, ghost stories, and urban legends, and a dance group known as the Buto dance group. I'll talk about them a little bit later. But J-horror really took off with the film Ring and its various sequels. Now, the American version was called The Ring, and that might be the one that you're most familiar with. But after that very successful film and series came another successful film and series called Ju-on, also known as The Grudge. And the complete collection of those Ju-on films are in this box set I want to talk about today. And it's 4 discs, and it's 6 different films. And each film begins with these words: Ju-on, a curse born when a person dies in a powerful rage. It gathers where the dead person lived and becomes a stain. Anyone who touches it dies, and a new curse is born. Now, because this is such a big box set and there's so many films in here, and I try to keep these episodes not longer than 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as I can. And I figured I would tell you what all these films have in common, because they do have a consistent tone and theme and storyline to them. All the films revolve around a particular house where a man murdered his wife and child. And the great thing about this house is it's a very ordinary looking house. It doesn't look like, oh my gosh, it's a haunted house or something. It's just very ordinary, which makes it even creepier. And because it's a Japanese house, it's very modular, where you can change around the rooms. Some of the doors can slide or move around. So you're always feeling a little unsettled during these films, looking in corners, or for somebody looking through a window, or maybe in a closet, or maybe something shifted over here, or somebody walks by in the background. So that really has an unsettling, kind of disturbing feel to it. All the films are set up as sort of interrelated or interwoven vignettes, really, where it starts with a black screen, then you have a name of a character in white lettering, and then that person's story, and then it cuts to black, and then another name, another person's story. People usually who are entering the house for whatever reason, and then carry the curse with them. And it plays a lot with time shifting. So it might start with the person in the house and encountering some kind of strange goings on, and then later on, a couple vignettes later, it's when the person didn't even enter the house yet, first came into the house for the first time. So a lot of time shifting going around between past and present. So not everything is explained, but it's also not confusing. You definitely get the idea of what's happening here. So it's really variations on a theme of this house and people who encounter it. And the cool thing is, stuff doesn't just happen to them in the house. Once they're in that house, it's sort of like the curse or the stain is on them, and it carries with them in their regular life, whether they're at work or walking down the street or on a date or whatever. And that's very cool too. So there's a consistent feel to all of these films. As far as the ghosts go, if you want to call them that, you can kind of see them on the front here. They're mostly painted completely white with the black hair, and this is where that Buto dance group comes in, because that's how those dancers in that group appeared. Shaven, completely shaven, totally white, black hair. And the writer-director of these films, he was exposed to that Buto dance group when he was a kid, and it made a big impact on him, so he uses that for the imagery in this film. It relies a lot on the music for its effectiveness, and the same composer is in all 6 of these films. It also relies a lot on sound effects like bumping noises, crackling noises, weird kind of strange noises, and also it's set mostly in bright daylight, and that makes it even creepier too. So you got an ordinary house bright daylight, so it's not thunder and lightning and the stereotypical haunted house look. The first 4 films were all written and directed by Takashi Shimizu, so this is really his brainchild. This is his thing. And as far as horror films go, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but if I mention horror films to certain people, they'll say, "Oh, I don't like to be scared. I don't like horror films. It's too scary." I don't think a horror film needs to be scary to be a good horror film. If it's scary, that's fine, but some horror films I can think of are really good. I wouldn't say they scared me. There's a couple of scares in here, a couple of jumps. But I think if it just uses interesting imagery and music and suspense, these are all very suspenseful, and builds a mood and an atmosphere, I think that can also make a good horror film. Whether it scares you or not, I don't think is the main criterion for what makes a good horror film. So let's go through all the discs in this Ju-on the Grudge collection box set. We start with disc 1, and this includes a Ju-on the Curse and a Ju-on the Curse 2. These are both from the year 2000. Now, all of these films are in Japanese with English subtitles, and they're all in color. Each one of these films is about 70 minutes long. These were straight to video films, and so the picture quality on these is not very good. It's average, and they were both filmed within 9 weeks. So these are very low budget, straight to video films, and they are both hugely successful when they came out in Japan. So based on that success, in 2003, 3 years later, we have Ju-on the Grudge, and that's the main one, and this is from 2003. It's 90 minutes long, and this is like a feature, well, this is a feature film, and it's much more polished than those early 2 films, and it's got the good picture quality and all that kind of stuff. And this led to the American version known as The Grudge. Now, Sam Raimi, renowned director of Evil Dead and Spider-Man, A Simple Plan, many other films, he knew what was going on with this director, and he was making this film, Ju-on, and hired him to make the American version. And so that was a wise choice. And also a wise choice was they had it set in Japan. So that was good too. So this takes those 2 early straight-to-video straight-to-video short films and expands them into this very nice feature film for 90 minutes. After that, the same year actually, the same writer-director as those other ones did Ju-on the Grudge 2, again 90 minutes long, and this expands even further on the story and the effects, so a lot of different effects and different ghost-like figures in Ju-on the Grudge 2. And this one is also very meta, because what happens in a large part of this film is you have a film crew that wants to make a horror film, and they want to set it inside a real haunted house, so they go to the famous house in Ju-on, and of course strange things begin to happen to them in that house, and then after they leave the house too, they carry the curse with them. The last 15 minutes or so of this film is a real tour de force of time shifting and audience manipulation, and just a really wild ride. I really enjoyed the last 15 minutes or so segment of this film. And then a few years later, in 2009, we have Ju-on White Ghost and Ju-on Black Ghost. These are each 60 minutes long again. So they brought it back. Different director and writer this time, but that same director and writer is the creative consultant on this one. And this was also straight to video, but the quality here is quite good, unlike those early films. I'm going to give a blanket rating for all these films because I really enjoyed them a lot. I'm going to say 4.5 houses out of 5 for all of these, with the exception of the second film, Ju-on the Curse 2. I'm going to ding that and give it 4 houses. The reason why is it's a short film to begin with. It's about 70 minutes long or so. And the first 20 minutes or so is the same footage as in the first film, Ju-on the Curse. So they just used it again. So I'm going to ding it for that. What's in this box? Well, you get a very nice hard box. This is from Arrow. This is a Region B set. So to watch this, you either need to be in the UK or you need to have a a region-free player, but don't let that discourage you. You can find the Ju-on films, at least most of them, readily available on region-free discs that will play anywhere, really. So you get all kinds of swag in this one. First of all, you get a poster, and I like the posters. I don't do anything with them, but I guess it's kind of cool they're there. And so there is, that's from the first film, Ju-on the Grudge. You can see what the little boy ghost looks like. And there is the Japanese version of the poster. And you also get a bunch of postcards. Now, usually with, if you get postcards with some of these box sets, they'll be in one disc holder. Each of these disc holders has postcards, maybe like 8 or so. So you're getting about, I don't know, almost about 30 or more postcards with each of these discs. So instead of just one set of postcards, you're getting postcards, a set in each disc. So there's quite a few you get. That's kind of bloody, better not show that. And then the back has the Ju-on thing. Okay, so you also get a book, very nice book, glossy, with all kinds of photos and really good information explaining all about the films, background information, very good. It's about 60 pages long, nicely done book. And then each disc also has a reversible sleeve art. So on the other side of the artwork, you get, like here is Ju-on White Ghost, Black Ghost. I'll get it together. And on the other side, you have the Japanese artwork. And on the front, it comes with the American or English artwork. Okay? So, where can you see all these wonderful films? Well, Amazon Prime is showing, I think, the Ju-on, the original one, maybe Ju-on 2 as well. And so check that out. They might even have some of the other ones on there. You can always rent or buy them. I saw the last two, White Ghost, Black Ghost, listed as one disc on Amazon for $47 plus $10 shipping. So $57, that's about what I paid for this box set. So if you're going to do that, just get the whole box and be done with it. You can check your library for Ju-on. They might have it there. The American version called The Grudge, and I think there's a Grudge 2 also, that might be more readily available. So if you can't find the Japanese ones and you're curious about what these films are all about, you can always look out for The Grudge as well. So what I want to do is, hopefully I'll remember to do this consistently. I want to give a little mention, or as the kids say, a shout out to people who have responded to this channel. Aisling is a new subscriber since my last episode, so thank you, Aisling, for subscribing. And I got a very nice comment from Vintage Stairwell Productions. I want to thank you for leaving that comment. You didn't have to do that, so it's very nice of you to do that. Nice to know people are liking the channel and liking what I'm doing here. So feel free to leave a comment yourself down here. What kind of foreign horror films do you like? There's other Japanese horror films that I like as well, but I want to start with this set. So any other foreign horror films you like, leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. We're at 380 as of this recording, 380. Our goal is to get to 400. So subscribe. Share this with your friends and neighbors. That would be great. No charge. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. See you next time.